Today is Tuesday, December 14. My name is Pastor Anthony, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today our text comes from Luke chapter 1. He has performed mighty deeds with his arm. He has scattered those who are proud in their inmost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things, but has sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel, remembering to be merciful to Abraham and his descendants forever, just as he promised our ancestors. Mary stayed with Elizabeth for about 3 months, probably until John's birth, and then returned home. That's Luke chapter 1, verses 51 through 56. So here in Mary's song, in the second half of it, that is, lies a dangerous heart of the gospel thread that ought to rightly make us uncomfortable. It's a thread that runs throughout the Bible. It perhaps begins in the story of Cain and Able as God asks Cain the question, "Where is your brother Abel?" "Am I my brother's keeper?" Cain replies. "Yes, you are," God's response seems to say. In the Old Testament, this idea is enshrined in law. "Love your neighbor as yourself," says Leviticus 19:18. And many other laws go on to spell out the implications in defense of the place and the cause of the poor, the orphans, the widows, and the foreigners. You are your brother's keeper, your sister's too. But sin is pervasive. The poor and marginalized are continually used and abused by the rich and powerful, even as Abel was slain by his brother. And so in the course of time, after Hannah gives birth to Samuel and dedicates him to the Lord, she sings not such a different song than Mary will. A song that declares the great reversals that the Lord's justice will bring. The warriors are broken, but the weak are made strong, she sings. The full starve, and the hungry are filled. The Lord sends poverty and wealth. He humbles, and he exalts. That's a song that echoes not only with Mary's song, but with Jesus' own oft-repeated refrain, "The last shall be first, and the first shall be last." Now, why should this make us uncomfortable? Because we are the first. We are the rich. Gathered with thousands of other Christians from around the world at the last meeting of the World Communion of Reformed Churches, this became for me again a palpable reality. The cries for justice from the delegates from the global south against us in the north who have built, on their backs, the luxuries of our anything at the click of a button, all-consuming consumerist society. It all still flows from the historic power differential of colonial rule and exploitation. I didn't personally do any of that colonizing or enslaving, of course, but I have participated in and benefited from the same arrangements that keeps us rich and them poor. And confronted with my brothers and sisters in Christ from those long marginalized countries who confront me about why I'm not doing something to reverse this unjust reality, well, I'm inclined to run and hide, as many of us are when confronted with things closer to home, like Canada's treatment of Indigenous people and their children. But even if I don't do anything about it, Mary's song reminds me that God will. I am the rich one that will be sent away empty. Maybe the proud one and the ruling one sometimes too, the one who needs to be scattered and brought down in order for justice to be done, for the poor to be released from their bondage to the needs of my lifestyle, and the resources of the creation to be liberated from the over-asking of my consumption. Does this mean that I won't have a place in God's heaven? No. He is faithful to his promises. But perhaps I won't be the one who gets a crown. Of course, we don't have to wait for God to bring this judgment on our own heads. We can always begin to live like he's called us to, even now. To humble ourselves. To sell our possessions and give to the poor. Even spending ourselves on behalf of the poor. Time, talents, and treasures. Indeed, the call is actually nothing less than to die to ourselves, trusting God fully with everything, not just with our souls, but also with our identity, our status, security, and wealth, our very lives. Is this not what we're actually praying for when we ask for God's will to be done and for His kingdom to come on earth as it is in heaven? A radical justice that levels out the blessings of creation so that everyone has enough? A new creation and a new humanity that keeps boundaries, that keeps their brothers and sisters in mutual love and dignity, all under the just rule of Jesus. It all sounds radical, doesn't it? Probably more radical than I'll be able to live out, I know. But Jacques Ellul, writing just after World War II, is convinced that nothing short of a radical shift in Christians' lifestyle would actually be able to crack through the walls of our culture and create a true missionary encounter with our own society. And I wonder not only if he's right, but also if that's perhaps not what the gospel calls us to. Things to ponder. If you'd like to listen to Mary's song as you do so, here is a link you can find in the notes to an excellent rendition of it. But for now, as you journey on, go with the blessing of God. May the peace of the Lord Christ still go with you, wherever He may send you. May He guide you through the wilderness and protect you through the storm. May He bring you home rejoicing at the wonders He has shown you. May He bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors.